Hey Geek Speakers, I'm your host Todd Bailey, joining me today.
White Johnson on Pots and Pans.
And we're doing a special podcast today to talk about Batman vs Superman binge.
Dawn of Justice.
Now, we went along to see it, first day it came out. We've held off doing a podcast so that people had a chance to go and see it. So, spoiler alert, if you have not seen Batman vs Superman, tune the fuck out right now, okay? Because we're going to be talking about everything. The plot.
We're going to spoiler the bejesus
out of it. You're really trying not to swear as much.
I'm really trying not to. I was going to drop the F-bomb and I thought, you know what?
I'm proud of you. I'll do double time for both of us. Okay, so of course the hype for this film has been building for years, and you know how I felt about Ben Affleck being cast as Batman. I've called it for years that he should be, and then the internet broke in half when he was cast. Everyone was like, "Oh, Ben Affleck is Batman," and
you said, "Yeah, I know. I called it."
I drank like a bottle of scotch just toasting it. And then, of course, Gal Gadot got cast as well.
Yeah.
And I remember I was one of the ones who said, Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman, she's not Amazoning enough, blah, blah, blah. Fuck boy, did I eat my words on that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, we went along to see it with a group.
We did indeed.
Took our lovely lasses along, and a few non-comic fans as well came with us.
Yes.
Right? Now, the reason why is I was really keen to see the reaction of non-comic people to see how they would react to such a movie.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Now, before going in to watch it, the critics had handed something shocking, hadn't they? They really had.
Yeah.
They had, had such a horrible rating on RottenTomatoes.com.
Yes.
All these the fans were coming out saying, "Hey, loving it." Critics were going, "It's rubbish." and I went in like really worried. I was like, "Oh God, is this going to bomb or whatever else?" We go in, we sit down. Rubber comes on the screen, starts getting into it, and I don't know about you, that first bit when young Bruce falls down the well, down the thing into the cave, and a swirl of bats coming,
and he starts lifting up.
Right?
I was thinking, oh,
I've looked at my wife and just gone, what the fuck? And she's like, and next minute, then Ben Affleck's voice goes, but it was just a dream. I'm like, I think
that's when I looked over and I looked at you and I saw the weight of the world just go, oh, thank fuck for that.
I was like, if that's the way they're going to go, that suddenly a swirling of bats lifted him up out there, like, this is shit.
This ain't happening. Ain't no bats powerful enough to lift him up.
But anyway, thankfully that was just was it a dream or whatever?
Dream sequence,
and then it got right into it, and oh my god, once again, spoilers. Batman, Ben Affleck as Batman just fucking nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. He has that world weary. A bloke who's been fighting crime in Gotham for 20 years.
Just the look about him. He's got the grey hair.
The way they tied it into Man of Steel. So he was in Metropolis the day that Zod attacked.
Yep.
And one of the buildings that fell and then got damaged was Wayne Financial, and he had to drag employees out of the rubble and protect a little girl. And right there and then he's looking up at the sky, and you can just see that grit and determination, like he's not meant to be here. He's the one who's caused all this. That's Superman.
That motherfucker's going down.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
Yeah. He didn't say it, but that's what he looked like.
Yeah.
I remember sitting there just going, he's perfect. He's absolutely perfect. And then you get into the movie, and of course there is ramifications from Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
So the politicians want Superman to front up at Senate and everything else, Congress, and there's a bit of back and forward, between politicians and what's her name?
Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter. Jeez.
She did a good job.
She did a good job. I haven't seen her in a film for a few years.
Yeah.
Played a Southern senator. Now, getting along with Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Different take, isn't it?
You know what? I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
At first I was kind of like, I'm not sure what to think about this.
Yeah. He had a lot of daddy issues, but I thought that added a lot to the character. And I'm so glad that it wasn't a bloody Gene Hackman rehash again.
No, we don't need to see Gene Hackman again.
No.
At the end of the day, I actually liked Jesse Eisenberg's version of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. Henry Cavill as Superman. Now, I'm probably going to get shot from some of the fans for saying this, but I'm really not a Superman fan. It's not that I don't like Henry Cavill. Superman to me is just a character I just never had much interest in. And I think the Superman parts of this film, funnily enough, called Batman vs Superman, Superman parts are probably the weakest. Do you agree?
And a lot of people have been complaining that Henry Cavill doesn't play Clark Kent like the Clark Kent from the old Superman movies, where he's bumbling and bloody.
He didn't need to be.
And yet,
like,
I didn't want it to be like that either.
No, you don't
He's
want
not putting on a character.
No, I agree with you there, actually.
I thought those parts of the original movies, I thought, why the fuck is he acting like a dickhead?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I must admit, I sat there and kind of thought, gee, this is interesting. When he comes home and jumps in the bathtub with Lois Lane. She's naked. I'll give chocolate. You know, I was hoping that they'd show a little bit of Amy Adams' boobage.
What?
Oh, what? I mean, don't tell me you weren't sitting there thinking. Every guy in that cinema was sitting there going, go on, show it.
What?
Yeah. Mate, now, there is meant to be an R-rated version.
I'm getting out of it.
Admit it. He's, there you go, he's going to go and play with the camera instead. As long as he's not playing with himself. Anyway, admit it. Every guy in that cinema, when they were in that, like, oh my god, we've never seen that before. Like Lois Lane, topless in a bathtub in a movie.
Yeah.
And it just proves it's a more adult version of a movie. You can't take your kids to this.
No.
Don't take your kids to Batman Superman. No. And we're meant to be getting an R-rated or an R-cut, aren't we?
Yes.
On
Well,
DVD.
From what I've read, they had to cut out 30 minutes of footage to be able to get this film classified PG.
No, it is about 2.5 hours already, isn't it? The film? Yeah.
So the R-rated version will be 3 hours long.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see it. And Snyder tweeted that he is doing a DCP cut, which pretty much means, you know, like he's saving it to a hard drive that can be played on cinema screens.
Oh, okay, cool.
So why would he pay that much money to get that done if it's never going to be seen on a cinema screen?
Don't know. Weird. But anyway.
Just saying.
I do want to make mention of some key points in the film.
Yes.
Now,
Alright, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert again.
You've been told.
Ever in the movie universe or even the comic universe, to my knowledge, at least I've never picked up on it, that Metropolis is across the harbour from Gotham. Okay, so there's a would you say headland or lake or something like that, but literally they can see Gotham and they can see the bat signal in the sky
just
from
across
Metropolis.
the bay, yeah.
Across the bay from Metropolis.
Which I thought was interesting. I've never seen it sort of...
Interesting take, but then I thought, well, hang on. Superman's there, he's been around for what? In the movie they say he's been there about 18 months. Okay? Why would he only now, like in this film, kind of go, which he does, he kind of, because the Batman in this film is a bit different to the Batman we've seen in other films.
Yes.
He brands criminals in this, right? With a bat symbol on their flesh.
Oh, he pissed off.
Yeah, he's a cranky Batman. So that makes it into the
newspaper.
The newspaper in Metropolis.
Yep.
And Clark Kent's like, we should be following up on this, and you know, why is this guy doing this and no one's looking into it?
Yep.
Now, Batman though has apparently been doing it for 20 years, roughly 20 years. He's been operating in Gotham. Okay.
Yep.
So Superman's like, now I'm gonna look at this. And so he goes across and he warns Batman. He's like, hang up the cape. This is a mercy.
I'm going to kick your ass.
I can kick your ass if you keep doing it. Which only makes Batman angrier. And Bruce Wayne Ben Affleck plays an angry Batman quite well. He really does. But yeah, so that of course pisses Batman off, and Batman's more determined to take out this alien.
Yeah.
So he starts plotting ways of taking down Superman. So that's kind of the general setup. That's, people go, oh, why would Batman and Superman fight? Well, this is why.
And yeah, I saw on TV. They were saying, one of the blokes on TV on this panel program was saying, I didn't understand why Superman and Batman were fighting. And I'm like, what fucking movie were you watching? It wasn't Rocket Surgery.
No.
I mean, what the hell?
Rocket Surgery?
Yeah.
No, they set it up very well. It's like, you know, Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, is pretty pissed off that this alien caused so much death and destruction in Metropolis.
Yeah.
So he's been trying to plot and work on a way of taking this guy down. So then when Superman kind of also notices, well, hang on, this guy over here, he's doing some nasty stuff. He's branding criminals. That's not the American way kind of thing, you know. That's not apple pie and fucking baseball. He decides, right, I'm going to go and give this guy a bit of a lesson and tell him he keeps doing it, I'm going to shut him down.
Yeah.
Which makes Batman angrier. And that's why they're at loggerheads. And then, of course, there's a plot there by Lex Luthor at the end for them to fight to the death, which is where, spoiler alert, things get resolved and then suddenly they're working together.
Yeah.
Now, I must admit, it was a little bit forced. The
Although-
way that they stopped fighting and had to work together, that was a little bit forced.
Although I'd never sort of put two and two together.
What?
That both their mums had the same name.
Martha.
Yeah. I never really put that together.
Martha.
They're fucking lucky that, like, that seems to be the... Hey, your mum's named Martha as well? We should be besties!
Yeah, let's team up and go and take down that little hairy guy in Metropolis.
Yeah, and shave his head.
Yeah. Anyway, what I did love though was Gal Gadot in the role of Wonder Woman. Oh my god!
Like as soon as she comes on screen in the Wonder Woman costume, there is no doubt that she is as powerful as she needs to be.
My wife leans over to me and she goes, "I cannot wait to see that next year."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You know what? I'll be right there with you because that's going to be an awesome film."
Especially when they showed the photo with Chris Pine and the other guys. And
Yeah.
you notice there's like an American Indian in the squad as well.
It's going to be good. It's going to be really good. And it's based in
Like
1980s, World War One.
We were all worried that the physicality, she didn't look big. She didn't look like an Amazon. But in this, you don't really care.
Oh no, she looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And she'd whoop your ass.
And I guess she's kind of got magical powers, you know?
She's got the bracelets and everything else.
Like she doesn't need to be...
Because that's the thing, once again, I shouldn't have to keep saying
Stop
this.
saying spoiler alert.
Spoiler
You've had your
alert.
chance.
She full on, she gets caught up in the crosshairs because Lex Luthor unleashes Doomsday upon Metropolis, okay? Not quite the Doomsday that we're used to in the comic books. I mean, they've tried. Die Hard Superman fans were like, it doesn't look like fucking Doomsday. I'm like, well, you know what? It's never ever going to look pitch perfect from the comics to the movie.
Yeah.
But I thought they did a pretty good job. And like within the fight sequence,
He starts growing.
spurting the things out and growing and looking a bit more. And I was like, fucking, he does look more like Doomsday now.
And the fact that they took Zod's body to create Doomsday,
Now
with the
this-
blood of Lex Luthor,
It's a Kryptonian human monster,
Hybrid-y thing.
hybrid monster, really, yeah. But anyway, when Doomsday's attacking and Wonder Woman gets in the way, that's when she uses the bracelets and the fight sequence there with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
actually, I'll be honest with you. Out of the three people in that, well, four people including Doomsday in that fight, right? But the three heroes. Superman was pointless. Right?
he went for a swim. Just like he did in the other movies. And then Lois had to come save him.
Yeah. So he was kind of pointless.
He needs a lifeguard.
I'm sitting there going, Superman's meant to be the most powerful. Batman, a fucking guy in a costume's out there kicking more ass than Superman was. And Wonder Woman was really holding the majority of the fight.
Oh yeah. If it wasn't for her, it'd be over.
Now, flashback scenes, well, not flashback, there was a scene in it called the Nightmare Scene where Batman. Now, what it was, it's a setup for the future of the films. Because if you did notice, and a lot of people didn't pick up on it, in the Nightmare Scene, it's a desolated kind of post-apocalyptic scene, and he's looking down on a hill. There's a city in the distance.
And the city's got to be Gotham. It's got to be.
Got to be. There was the Omega symbol, Darkseid's Omega symbol,
which I didn't pick up on.
Didn't you? Originally?
Yeah, I've since read the article that they had these screenshots of.
But you picked up on the parademons?
Yes,
Right?
that they look like
Darkseid's parademons were in there, yeah.
the full wing sort of insecty looking characters.
And there's another scene in there where Bruce falls asleep on his desk and he kind of gets woken up by a vortex, and there's a voice, and he's like, Lois is the key, Lois is the key, and the hand reaches out, there's a red costumed hand, and you see through the vortex, it looks like it's Flash.
It's a Flash, because as soon as you see his face come
And
through,
everything else, and he's
it's
like,
the costume.
then he realises that he keeps saying over and over again, I'm too early, I've come back too soon. And and then Bruce wakes up thinking it's a dream, but I think they're setting that up for like a Crisis or Flashpoint or something like that.
Infinite Crisis,
Yeah, so very cool, very cool. Those little things they threw in there. Some people said it was forced. I'm like, well, they're behind the eight ball. They haven't got time to build a big universe like Marvel did with the first Iron Man.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
DC are going to play catch up a little bit, so they have to put some things in there. Now we did see the origin of Cyborg in this movie in a video clip.
Which was interesting that the actor playing
Joe Morton. Playing his father. Hey.
Yeah.
Flashback to Blues Brothers 2000 right there.
But he's also Miles Dyson, the creator of the Terminators in the Terminator 2 series.
Did people not learn anything? Don't let Joe Morton create anything because it turns out to
he's
shit.
fucking shit around, man. He's turning someone into a cyborg, which is essentially, a Terminator.
Yep. This ain't gonna end.
Skynet has arisen,
You know what I was surprised by, and I'm probably a little bit disappointed. They had Aquaman and Jason Momoa as Aquaman, but it was only a very, very, very small, quick scene.
Yeah.
Right? And yet all the merchandise that came out for this movie led me to believe that he was going to be in it more.
He was going to be at least a cameo, not just I'm watching him on a television screen.
Yeah, and that's what it was. And I was a little bit disappointed by that.
Well, how come I guess the Flash isn't in costume on screen.
No, he's just like Barry Allen.
He
shaving someone in a supermarket.
He should have the action figure of him in the hoodie with the opening the fridge little action figure.
You reckon?
Yeah.
But I'm surprised. Yeah, they brought out merch for Aquaman, and he's barely. in it. And there was a scene in the bigger fight with Doomsday where Lois goes to retrieve a spear that Batman had made with pure shard of kryptonite on the end.
Yep.
And so she goes to because they realise that could destroy Doomsday, and it's trapped down in a big chunk of like a well kind of thing in an abandoned building. So she goes in to get it, and she gets trapped. And even the lovely wife has leaned over. She goes, "Oh, this has got to be Aquaman making another appearance."
Oh,
right. And I'm sitting there going,
"Oh, fuck! I never picked up on that."
See what I've got to work with. I'm sitting there going, "Oh shit, she's right."
Can you imagine? He'll just go poof, out of the water,
grab the spear, and then jump in the fight.
Oh,
no.
Oh, Zack Snyder, you fucked up.
Yeah.
You had your perfect chance.
That's how they really could have introduced Aquaman.
I've actually got tingles up and down my spine thinking about that.
And they didn't do it.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So anyway, I was a bit disappointed by that.
Damn.
Yeah.
The hair on the back of my neck is...
But overall, I just want to talk about the Batcave and Wayne Manor. Wayne Manor in it. Did you find that interesting? Wayne Manor's a wreck. It's like a destroyed old house. Bruce is living in a lakeside house on the estate. Yeah. And the Batcave is built beneath the lake house and under the lake, part of the lake. So it's all very modern and very... I actually didn't mind that.
I love the fact that the Batmobile jumps into the lake where the entrance is in the lake. It was an awesome entrance.
How good was the Batmobile in action?
I loved it. Yeah. I loved it that it had that sleekness of the Tim Burton Batmobile.
But it was rugged. Had bits of the Tumbler to it.
But it wasn't. But it still felt like a Batmobile. The Tumbler never felt like a Batmobile.
Yeah.
It just felt like an artillery type vehicle.
Yeah. I thought it was really well crafted, and I loved it in the film. And I did love the way Batman used it in the film, because once again, critics are saying Batman kills in this film. Right? Batman doesn't commit murder, if that's what they're talking about. Simply, which I've always, I'm a die-hard Batman fan, have been since I was a kid.
Yep.
And Batman doesn't kill. Okay, Batman doesn't murder. But if people get in the way, it depends on you. Remember, this is based on The Dark Knight Returns. And in The Dark Knight Returns, people fucking get dead. Do you know what I mean? So, in this film, he doesn't necessarily snap their neck or whatever else, but he drags cars behind, cars full of crims that have been shooting at him and others.
And that was
drags behind, and this car's flipping, and people are like, oh, well, those people will be dead. Yeah, well, guess what? They're collateral fucking damage. They were criminals. Yeah. Batman's not out there snapping their neck or shooting them or whatever, but they're in the way. If they get killed, well,
and like you say, this is Batman after 20 years. Robin is dead. We can see this.
This is hardcore.
That's why he branded someone, because
the criminals.
And they said in it that brand essentially is a death sentence for anyone in jail.
Yeah.
So he's pissed off at this stage. It's almost like he's gone too far.
Yeah.
And this movie is showing how far he can be, so that at the end of the movie they can see that he's gotten back on the path.
That's right. And this leads at the end of the film.
There's your character development for the critics out there that don't think there's any character development.
Fuck you, critics. Fuck you. As DC executives and Scott Snyder and Ben Affleck have come out and gone, well, the critics are wrong. Look at the money it's pulled in. A majority of fans, if you're a die-hard Batman fan, the feedback I've gotten from fans, the negative feedback has come from people who aren't necessarily Batman, Superman fans.
Yes.
They are more, we love the Marvel movies, and they've gone, oh, it's not as good as a Marvel movie. And you go, okay, well, you're not going to get it. It's not for you.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem for what this movie is. This movie was made for the fans,
Yes.
I believe. Marvel movies are essentially casting the net out for everyone on Earth.
Yeah. And actually Marvel, and I've said this on podcasts before, the last handful of Marvel films, Marvel studio films, very formulaic.
Yes.
They work to a formula now. It's a bit predictable. I mean, fuck, I could drive road trains through the plot holes in the two Avengers. And I've said that before. This is different. Yes, there's problems with this film, and hand on heart, you know, there are problems with this film. There are some things that are just jammed in there that shouldn't be jammed in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that I would go through and cut out if I was editing the film.
Yep.
But every superhero film has that problem.
And I think the major problem with what the general public with this film is that it's not lighthearted.
Yeah.
There's no sort of stopping to have a laugh, which I think Marvel does a lot.
Oh, yeah, Marvel films are traditionally pretty funny.
Yeah.
You know, even things like Avengers had, like, someone watched it back the other day and said to me, they went, didn't realise they went and watched it again the other day, just how many jokes are crammed into the first couple of scenes of Avengers Age of Ultron. And they went, when we watched it back, we actually kind of winced and went, oh my God, that was a bit too heavy on the jokes.
And with this movie, it's based on the characters because in this movie, Batman can't make jokes.
Yeah.
Superman, he gets into that point of the film where he can't make any jokes. So
That mindset, it's a dark film.
Yeah.
And you know what? I fucking loved it. I loved it.
And no way you're going to say that this copy's a Marvel film.
Oh, God, no.
It's its own part.
Yep, and that's what DC had to do. Warner Brothers had to do that with the DC characters. Otherwise, they would have copped criticism for mimicking or copying Disney and Marvel.
Absolutely.
And I think good on them. You know what? There's been well, I say fan petitions. It's not fucking fans if they're putting a petition like that out there to get Zack Snyder off any future films.
Yeah, on change.org.
Yeah, you know, it's those people. Grow the fuck up. It's a film, right? I mean, you've had multiple versions of Superman and Batman over the years. If you don't like Zack Snyder's interpretation, go and watch those. Do you see me bitching and moaning every fucking time and saying, oh, they ought to fucking ditch Christopher Nolan, should never be allowed to be Batman again? I mean, I probably did actually say that, but anyway.
Bring back Tim Burton, motherfuckers.
I didn't go and launch a petition to say that Chris Nolan was shit. Okay?
You did?
I didn't launch a
I thought you
petition.
did.
No, I didn't.
But remember, people, I've got a photo on my phone of the petition in paper with actual signatures on it back in '89 when they wanted to get rid of Michael Keaton.
It was actually 88.
It would have been 88 when they were filming it, yeah.
Because everyone went, Mr. Mum's going to play Batman?
No.
Oh, God, no.
No.
And they did. They launched a petition back
And guess
then.
what happened there?
And look at that. That was a massive hit of a film.
It's pretty much the reason why we're here now.
Batman vs. Superman has made a goddamn good chunk of money. Yes, it tapered off. It's fallen off a week after release. But you know what? A lot of films do that. And it's a different time of year. If they had bought this out at Christmas, makes you wonder, would it have done even better?
It's made $500 million.
Already.
$500 million.
So I think they're sitting back, rubbing their hands together.
And that's, yeah.
And you know what? Apparently Ben Affleck has started work writing a solo Batman film. So I'm hooked in. I reckon this is fantastic.
Now, do you think, is that solo Batman film going to continue on from this movie?
Could go back and actually tell us what happened with Robin, why Wayne Manor is in a wreck and everything else. I think it'll be set free.
Did you like those sort of dream sequence flashback type scenes in the movie?
I think you needed them. They had to put them in there.
As character development, yes.
Yeah. I mean, the whole Nightmare Batman, I did think when I was sitting there watching it going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it sort of, it felt completely left field of what was happening, but I guess that's adding to what Batman feels against Superman.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, we are going to quickly talk about the big thing in it. Now, I've read comics all my life. I was around the time when
this happened
in the comics and everything else. So if you haven't seen it, and this is the big spoiler,
you've had your chance. You've had your chance. We're 24 minutes into this. You've had your chance.
Yeah, right. Superman dies, right? And I'm sitting there,
and it's
fucking logical, right?
It's
you brought Doomsday in. He's sitting there going, it's logical that he fucking dies, right?
But
I didn't think that.
I did. At the end of it, I said to you, I did not think they had the balls to do
Yeah,
this.
and I'll be honest, right? And I know my wife's watching. I was choked up a little bit when Batman lowers his Superman's lifeless body down to Wonder Woman in front of Lois Lane off this fucking rock, right? I choked up a little bit. There might have just been a little bit of a tear forming there. I was like, oh my god, he's fucking dead.
Really?
Right? But it was beautiful the way it was shot. You know, Batman's gently lowering his body down, trying to give it to Wonder Woman. She's picking him.
Which was I was a bit concerned about, because I would have thought Batman just would have kicked it off the edge. So I just went, through. Wonder Woman, pick him up. Heads up.
I'm glad he didn't. But yeah, it took me by surprise. I've talked to a few other comic fans who went, you know what, we should have all known that.
We should have seen it coming. Yeah.
We didn't think they'd ever do it in the movie.
Because I believe we've been led into this false sense of security by Marvel. I don't think Marvel would have had the balls to do anything like this with their characters.
They wouldn't have killed one of them off like that,
not.
Oh, they killed off Quicksilver, and everyone's like, you've only just introduced him in the fucking film. Whoopie fucking do.
You know, and to be honest, Quicksilver's not. He's not an A-grade superhero, is he? He's not an A-grade celebrity.
You can send your hate mail, Marvel fans, to Wade Copson, care of Geek Speak to Woman.
Yeah, and then they, like, it's not one of those deaths where it's, he dies, and then you give him mouth to mouth, and then he comes back to life. There's a full-on funeral, he's in the coffin, they bury him, there's everything.
But there's that little bit at the end that makes you go, oh, he's coming back.
Where the little chunks of dirt are starting to rise above.
Will we see a black suited Superman?
Which is cool, because on his coffin, the black coffin with the silver S.
Yeah. Will we see him in a black costume with the silver S in Justice League? Will he be what comes back and helps everyone?
Longer hair?
Superman? Maybe a bit of a longer hair.
I'm just upset that I want him to skip the black Superman and go straight to Superman Blue.
The Electric Boogaloo.
Superman Blue, Electric Boogaloo. Yes.
I'd watch that.
Because I just want to get those action figures.
I'd watch that. That'd be pretty cool. So that's it. I mean, I gave it 5 out of 5. I walked into that cinema and walked out going, yes, there's problems with it and everything else, but you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed the Batman part of it. That's what I went in for.
Yes.
I was very pleasantly surprised by Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And now it's maybe just, I can't wait to watch that film next year. I think it's going to be awesome.
Absolutely.
And I walked away going, Jesse Eisenberg. Pretty cool as Lex Luthor.
The very end scene with Jesse Eisenberg in the jail and Batman just... And I'm like, fucking hell.
Batman's hardcore.
Yeah.
So,
we must go back to the beginning where Alfred... Jeremy Irons did an amazing job.
I always loved Michael Gough.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Or Gough or
whatever. From the original films.
Yes.
And he was always a great Alfred.
Yes.
But you know what? Jeremy Irons. And I thought Michael Caine was the highlight of the Chris Nolan Batman films for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
No. Jeremy Irons is Alfred.
Because you can believe that he was once a soldier himself.
Yeah.
Never did I ever think that Michael Gough was
I love that they played up the Playboy factor a little bit in some scenes there where Bruce Wayne, wakes up and he's beside some random woman in his bed in the lake house.
Yep.
And he gets up and he wanders out, and then Alfred comes in and he's like, here's all these empty wine bottles. And he goes, I shudder to think that, any future Wayne will inherit an empty wine cellar.
Yep.
And then he puts a bottle in and goes, who am I kidding? As if there wouldn't be any future Waynes. And I just thought that was fantastic. He had that wit about him. And Bruce, obviously a bit of a drinker, he's playing through the wine.
Which is something from Dark Knight Returns.
He seems to be a man who's hurting. A man who's kind of, he's had a life of horror and pain being Batman.
Yes.
And loss, especially when it flashes on that costume, the Robin costume, with the ha kind of thing on it.
And I do like that they've brought in the Kevin Smith idea of Batman having like an electronic voice modulator.
Actually, I watched an interview with Ben Affleck this week.
Yep.
And they said, why didn't you do a voice like Christian Bale did? And he said, well, no, because if you're looking at it from a real world point of view, he's a billionaire who's on TV all the time and in the social pages, wherever else. Someone would pick up and go, that guy sounds like Bruce Wayne.
It sounds like a guy's got a really raspy Bruce Wayne voice.
Yeah. So that's why, like Arrow has, Oliver Queen has in Arrow, he's got a voice modulator built into the cowl. And it works. It works really good. And I liked it. I thought that...
And it gives it resonance just around. Yeah. And what did you think of that first scene where you see Batman and he's hiding up in the corner in the
I
roof?
love that.
And then it almost felt a bit like they were kind of stylizing it a bit to see what the cop was seeing.
Yeah,
like
this
he's scurrying across the roof. Yeah, like you say, like a
supernatural
kind of character.
Yeah. Because the women who were locked in the prison cell at that stage were going, there's a demon in here, there's a demon.
Yeah.
And I think they played up that angle, which I thought was cool. And you see the name of the coppers?
No.
In the credits, the names of the coppers, one I think was Brubeck or Rucker.
Oh, really?
Based on writers.
Oh, wow, that's
Batman
awesome.
writers. Yeah,
That's
that was
awesome.
pretty cool. But yeah, the fighting style with Batman that's how Batman should fight.
I love the fact that he brought the camera back so you could see the action, what was happening. Nolan just had too close in. You couldn't see.
He suffers from the Michael Bay syndrome.
Yeah.
Because where film everything in close and tight, and which just shits me. That was my biggest problem with Transformers is when you got these big action scenes and you got the camera right in there. You're like, no, you
just pull out just a little bit so I can see what's going on. Especially when Batman jumps over the big wooden box and slams him down onto it.
Oh, it's fucking a hardcore fight.
Yeah.
It is a hardcore fight.
And that's the way Batman needs to be.
Oh yeah, I always thought when I'm reading a Batman comic, I'm like, this guy is fucking highly trained. He's not going to just go easy and give him a bit of a slap and tap. He's going to smash these guys, and that's my problem. In the comics, they haven't always shown that. It's always been a bit of a, he relies on his gadgets too much and stuff like that. You don't really see an awful lot of gadgets in this film. That's one thing. He's got the car and everything else. He's got the grappling kind of gun.
Yep.
But I mean, he's using a sniper rifle with a tracer on it and
Yeah,
everything else.
yeah.
I'm kind of like, he's not scared to use basic fucking tools.
Yep.
And then when it comes to the fighting style, it's not all about the gadgets. It's about pure brutality.
exactly.
Just get the job done, kick ass. So loved it, absolutely loved it. Jim, what do you rate
I
it?
would have given it a 10 out of 10 because I really enjoyed it.
We're going 10, are we?
Well, 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. Although there was parts in it when I was watching it, this is first impressions of it.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of felt like we were watching very stylized music video clips.
Yep.
Because there was scene, then scene, then scene where it was kind of like, right, it's dark and the camera's this way, and it was sort of this sort of music, and then it cut to something completely different. But that's why we took this long to do a review, because we wanted to let it sink in, not let the hype over.
There's a few people there who are commenting and talking to us there. Let us know what you thought. Now Nathaniel said it was glad to see Joe Morton.
Miles
Davis from Terminator Salvation is still getting some work. We just talked about that before, Nathaniel.
Yeah.
And it's like, if he's built Cyborg, it ain't going to end well.
Skynet is part of the DC universe now, and I'm sure Lex Luthor has got money in it.
Well, probably. But tell us what you thought out there. The Easter egg. I didn't pick up on this part about Jimmy Olsen.
Yes. The scene where Lois is in the desert with her photographer interviewing terrorists. There is the photographer in it is referred to as Jimmy. In the end credits, apparently his character is credited as Jimmy Olsen. On IMDb, you can go to IMDb right now, and that actor has got the credit as Jimmy Olsen.
Oh, really?
IMDb. So, is that the Jimmy Olsen that we know, or just thinking, have they taken Jimmy Olsen's passport and used it for this CIA character? Because that's essentially who he is. He's a CIA operative. Lead.
Interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
So, but he's Jimmy Olsen. He's a photographer.
And so the whole point with as to why the Senate, like the politicians have got the shits, because Superman went into a foreign country and caused some thing trying to save Lois.
And then the Russian guy who's KG Beast, apparently.
Oh, really? I hadn't even picked up on that.
I hadn't picked up on it until I read this article about the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
From what I understand, he's supposed to be KG Beast.
We haven't heard that in years. I don't think they've done him in the comics for years. He's been an awesome character.
So hopefully they're bringing that character into this whole universe.
Yeah.
And then they shoot the rest of the terrorists, and then, America believes Superman went in there and wiped everyone out.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
I just...
Plenty of things to do. Apparently, you have got to watch it at least twice. Even Kevin Smith
Who
So
went back and watched it again and said he...
And there was a fist fight break out while he was watching it with Jason Mewes. Not between them, but between people in the cinema. There was a fist fight.
There's probably someone who went, fucking Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And someone would have went, hang on, what? Affleck's the bomb in Batman Superman.
He is. He really is. My man crush has gotten stronger.
So yous at home that are watching this live, make sure you comment and ask us some questions about... And then tell us what you thought about
Give us your
Batman
rating.
Superman.
Put your rating down there. Let us know. Out of 5. 5 out of 5 being really good. 1 out of 5 being... There you go. And tell us, is there any other films this year you're really psyched up to go and see? I'll tell you what I'm going to see next week,
Yeah.
the lovely lady, is the new Huntsman one. You know,
the new Snow... Well, it's not Snow White, is it? It's just the Huntsman because they've gotten rid of Snow White from this
I
movie.
don't know, is there? I don't know. I know it's got Charlize Theron, Emily Blunt's in it.
Yeah, but they've gotten rid of the girl that can't act from Twilight.
Oh, they have too. She was pretty shit in the last one. I mean, it wasn't a great film. It was enjoyable, but it wasn't a great.
But at least we
film.
get to see more Chris Hemsworth, I guess.
Yeah, well, hey, you know.
No, I'm not saying I want to see more of him shirtless. I'm just saying him in a new movie.
Tell us what you really feel,
Yeah.
Ginge. But I'm taking the lovely last one to see that next week because it comes out. And Chris Hemsworth. My only problem with that first Huntsman film was the really bad Scottish accent he was doing, which he kind of drop out halfway.
Yeah, you were saying he drops out back into Australian every now and then.
Yeah, so I hope he doesn't do that in this film.
But maybe Americans don't understand what a Scottish or Australian accent is anyway.
Well, they don't seem to understand ever.
I watched Django Unchained last night. I
Finally
got
Django
around to
Unchained.
watch it.
Yeah.
You know what? But Tarantino doesn't do too bad of an Australian accent in it.
I thought it was over the top.
It was over the top, yeah, but I mean, his whole movie was over the top.
Yeah.
But you know what? I love that. And like the scene where he shoots the woman and she then flies at right angles from the angle where he is shooting.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's over the top and there's blood and guts, but it was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since it came out in the cinema. I must go and get that again and sit down and watch that.
The reason I bring up Terminator again is because I went and finally watched Terminator Genesis.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that.
And you know what? I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
I enjoyed it.
Did you see Megan Fox came out the other day and said no one should ever watch Jonah Hex? She reckons
What?
it's horrible. Yeah, she was fucking in it. I mean, she wasn't a good part of it, but you know what? I mean, yeah, it's one of them films people go, oh, geez, that was shit. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Josh Brolin was good in it.
Josh Brolin was pretty fucking good, yeah. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in it. He's been in that many DC films now because he plays Thomas Wayne in Batman vs Superman. And you know what? I would love to see if they do a solo Bat film.
Yeah.
More of Thomas
Yeah.
there, like flashbacks to him talking to young Bruce and
mhm.
things like that. I don't know. I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan as an actor. I think
You just
he's
want to
really
see him in the Batman suit too.
good. As the Batman from Flashpoint.
The Thomas Wayne.
Thomas
Batman.
Wayne Batman. That would be imagine him actually.
I've seen some
Right.
Photoshop.
I've seen that
Costumes
too.
and
Yeah, me too. But I enjoyed Jonah Hex. So Megan, what's her name?
Fox.
Megan Fox. Pull your fucking head in.
She's probably upset because you can see her thumbs.
Her weird
in it.
thumbs, her
yeah.
toe thumbs.
Yeah.
What do they call that? Club thumb, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that. She's weird. Megan Fox is weird. Fucking this coming from the woman who was in a couple of Transformers films with fucking
Where she
Shia
was-
LaDouche.
Where she was orange.
Yeah.
She wasn't even tan, she was orange.
Yeah, that was fucking spray tan. Oompa Loompa
She
tan.
looked like an Oompa Loompa.
But yeah, I did see that the other day when she came out. She's like, "Oh, no one should ever watch Jonah Hex. It's a horrible film." I'm like, "Fuck off!" I enjoyed it. I have it on DVD.
Yeah?
I'm gonna go home and watch it tonight now. Just to spite fucking Megan Fox.
You should tweet her. Megan Fox, watching
Watching
Jonah Hex.
Eat that.
You should take a screenshot, a photo of her thumb to her, and then put your thumb next to it.
What's worse, your thumb or Jonah Hex? I know what I'm watching tonight. I liked it. It was good.
Now,
But as I was saying though, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in The Losers. He was in that.
Yes.
DC. He's been in a lot of kind of movies like that. Oh, Watchmen.
Watchmen, of course.
So yeah, he's kind of heavily into the DC.
And now he's
universe.
gone across and he's going to be in The Walking Dead.
I gave up on that. Walking Dead.
Yeah?
I gave up.
I gave up after the initial pilot.
You hated it.
Well, that initial pilot was such a slow burn for me.
Yeah.
For something that's supposed to be a
zombie.
zombie TV show, it just...
Talking about cool things it shows,
Mm.
I discovered on Sci-Fi Channel the other night, I'm probably behind the times, but a great little game show called Geeks Who Drink,
Yes.
right? Hosted by Zachary Levi, the guy from Chuck,
Mhm.
right? And my wife has some unnatural thing for Zachary Levi because she was making some funny, oh my god, Zachary Levi.
What?
Right, when we were watching the other night.
He's not even a Doctor Who.
I had to ask her, I was like, who the fuck is... And she goes, it's the guy at Chuck. And I'm like, God, he looked different in Chuck. right? But he's a snappy dresser in this. He hosts it.
He's got a beard.
Yeah, he has got a bit of a
Yeah.
thing. But each, so it's two teams essentially, and he's the host.
Mm-hmm.
And each team has a pseudo celebrity on it. So
Yep.
someone who's been in a bit of a cult film or a TV series or something like that. That's a bit geeky.
Yes.
And and then two regular people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool. Yeah. So every time they have to drink alcohol during it. And
It's pretty much like the Australian Rock Quiz,
Yeah,
but rather than
yeah.
music questions,
It's all
they're
geek
like,
questions.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
Yeah.
So it's on Sci-Fi Channel. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Geeks Who Drink, I rated it quite highly. It was quite entertaining.
And you know, you and myself are geeks that drink, so we felt
Right
quite
at home.
obliged.
Right at
Right at
home.
home.
Yeah, I busted out a fucking bottle and had a couple with Zachary Levi.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd love to go. And they had some of the contestants. One of the women on it owned a comic book store in California.
Yeah.
Another one was a comic book proofreader for one of the big companies. I'm assuming DC because it's filmed in California, so she's either DC or Image.
Yep.
She was a proofreader for. It's very interesting to see that show. And as I said, I flew on the radar. I was just flicking through the other night. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel. I was like, Geeks Who Drink. Never heard of this. It's really, really good. So there you go, Ginge. Anyone else there got some questions out
Yeah,
there?
send us some questions. Tell us what you thought of Batman Superman. I just wanted to ask, what did you think of the Batsuit, the costume?
Remember I had a criticism about Fat Bat?
Yes.
Okay, remember I was like, it's a bit too...
He's bulky. He's
Well,
definitely...
you've only got to look at Ben Affleck,
Yes.
pictures of him during the filming.
and it's definitely the Dark Knight Returns.
Because I can't think of the director's name who directed Gone Girl.
Okay.
Okay.
But didn't Affleck do it?
What?
Didn't Affleck direct Gone Girl?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Anyway.
With Rosamund Pike, right? But anyway, whoever the director was had to say to him, mate, can you lay off the gym sessions until you finish my film? Because he was...
Hey,
he
what the
was
hell,
too
dude?
bulky. He was
Getting
getting
huge.
way too bulky.
I have to use the lens that's this.
No, only Kevin Smith does that.
He had to get an anamorphic lens and turn it the other way. So rather than things looking wider, they made the slimming. It's the same one that Oprah uses on her television shows.
Oh, is that the one you used to use for me when we were from Geek Speak Live as well? Just to fit the fat head in. Actually,
But Fat Bat.
Yeah, Fat Bat. But in the film, it worked. The
Yes.
costume really looked good.
Especially the end of the movie where he's coming out of the rubble. He's just fucking huge.
He is, man. He really is.
But the colours, I didn't miss the yellow in the suit.
No.
In this world.
No.
In this world.
And the bat symbol shining up in the night sky when Superman's looking at it
Yep.
from Metropolis, looking
Yeah.
across the bay. Once again, it's still a bit of a funny concept to wrap my head around.
Yeah, and it
Across the
seems
bay from
it
each
seems way too close for them to is us doing geographical studies for there to be two major
cities,
you know.
just with a port like, and you know, if you can visually see fucking Gotham across, I'm in Metropolis, I can see Gotham straight over there, right? Fucking would Batman have kind of covered the two cities to a
Yeah,
degree?
yeah.
Like, wouldn't he also be the Dark Knight
It'll-
Avenger of Metropolis?
And to be honest, for the people that live in Australia, in Queensland, it's closer than Brisbane and the Gold Coast. You know,
it is. It's weird. Mitchell Cronin, ravioli, give me the formula. What? Mitchell, I've got no idea what you're on about.
Is he talking about Marvel having formulaic?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Is that what you're talking about?
Elaborate, sir.
Elaborate, sir. Did you see that theory that this is actually a continuation going right back to Batman '89? So it's the same
Oh.
Batman, right?
It
Yeah.
could, oh, yeah.
And I read it. I'm not going to go into.
This is a
detail.
fan theory.
This is it's fan theory. It's got some bones to it.
Now, would that mean that Batman and Robin is part of this?
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So he has had Robin.
Yeah. Well, yes.
right.
Yeah.
Now the Joker died in the first film.
Yeah.
Right. And they're saying that so the Joker that we see now, Jared Leto, is
Is-
someone who admired the original Joker and has taken on his legacy.
Okay.
And that's the Joker that Harley Quinn falls in love with in Suicide Squad, or pre-Suicide Squad.
Mhm.
He's obviously done the dirty on it. So Batman has fought this because he says in Batman vs Superman, he says clowns,
Yes.
plural.
Ah.
So someone's gone, so there's not just one Joker, right? Which beats the other fucking theory going around. And if it comes, we've only got a couple of months